whoever's here. It's Thursday evening. We're going to have, this is a mom night, which this is probably one of my favorite topics because I think we talked about, well, I'm going to bring Peggy in first.
Hey.
Peggy, everyone. Good to see you.
Hey. Good to see you too.
So two things. Well, I'm going to let you introduce our guest. And what I'm thrilled about, I think probably one of the toughest things is, and I can't really relate, is being a mother with sobriety, especially with kids, because
you're a mother in sobriety for sure.
Excuse me. And
you're
but I'll let you. Yeah, but there's well, I'll let you introduce our guest. But I wanted to real quick, two things. One, next week. When can I expect my basket of Get Well homemade soup to be arriving? Because I'm getting back surgery on Tuesday. It's a laminectomy for lumbar stenosis, which I had it done once before, and it'll be it's probably about as much pain as I can remember going through. For about a week. So I've got all my I bought all my I'm going to be living on frozen pizzas and corn dogs, all the easy stuff to cook next week. But the other one is I got my ticket for November 12th for the next Sober in the City event, which is in Austin. And
exciting.
Okay, two things. One, I think there's only like 20 tickets available left.
It's the tickets just went on sale on Monday at 8 a.m. and they're almost all gone. It's actually a weekend, 11th and 12th. And I will be hosting, this side of alcohol will be hosting the Friday night meet and greet. And we have a couple local Austin people that will be on a panel as well. And then Jen Couch from Sober Sis will be the featured speaker on Saturday. And also, Chris Marshall will be from Sands Bar, will be our mixologist. And we're really excited. There's bookstore readings, yoga. This is our third one. Susie Streelman is.
I thought this was the second.
No, we did one in Long Beach in January, then Sacramento in May, and then this is our third one. We're very excited. It's like every single event gets bigger and more expansive. So I really can't wait to see some people from all over the U.S. and get some in real life hugs in there. So I'm really excited. It's just, I'm so proud to be a part of this. It's just incredible.
Where will I be sitting during the VIP portion of this?
You'll be backstage.
I'll be in my room with me and Domino's. We'll be enjoying dinner together.
Yeah, I'm just really excited. Austin's just the hotbed of sobriety, apparently. And Amanda Kuda, also a native from, we're going to be interviewing her next month. So she's got an incredible blog and is about to, I think she's writing a book too. So we'll get her on next month as well. And some of the people that I'm going to be working with, Beth and Victoria, our local Austinites too. And we're going to interview those people before the event too. So I'm really looking forward to the next few weeks.
I heard you you recorded the Audible of your book, which you did it yourself. When does that become available?
No, I didn't do it myself. I did it in San Diego with audio. It's called One Audiobooks. And it was probably one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. And it will I just signed the contract with One Audiobooks, and my book will actually be in all the audiobook platforms. And also my most excited part is that it's going to go to libraries. So I'm super excited.
Which is perfect for me because then I don't have to buy it. I could just check it out.
And you don't read anyway, so an audiobook might suit you a little bit better.
if you put a little more exciting pictures in, maybe I could have, we could have gotten
We,
there.
yeah, we don't really have hallucinogens with the audiobook, but maybe that's coming. I don't know.
Only one question. I want to bring in our guest, but reading your own book out loud, did you, I guess my curiosity is, did you go, oh, I wish I had said that differently, or why didn't I write it differently?
Oh, sure. And that happened. And also there were places that I was so emotional, not a lot, just maybe 4 or 5 where I could barely say the word without getting choked up.
Was that opening line when you read the foreword of chapter 1, when you
Yeah.
mentioned?
I mean, when I mentioned you, yeah, that's especially when I cried. But I guess it was so cathartic. And if anybody's uh, in the market to do an audiobook, one audiobook with Corey and Elle was one of the best experiences of my life. And it wasn't too bad to be in a hotel across the street from the beach in Carlsbad either. So thanks for bringing that up.
Well, who's our guest? Introduce Patty.
This is Patty McMahon. She goes as PMAC, and I met Patty through Sober Sis. We're both sober sisters from Jen Couch, who again is going to be the guest speaker in our Austin this Sober in the City. So I'm just gonna let her talk and introduce herself. She's got a lot of things going, a lot of changes in her life since she put down the wine glass. So, Patty, take it away.
Hey, PMAC, Patty. First off, just start off, because I don't know any of this. How long? When did you get sober? And then, so just give us that information, and then I want to hear your story.
Sure. Well, I started Jen Couch's 21-day reset December of 2021. And that really kicked it off. And I had a feedback moment. And some people are into like not counting or counting that. I chose to say after I drank, that's my day one. But I don't regret it, because it was like it gave me a lot of, I don't know. I had learned so many tools in the 21-day reset on like what alcohol was doing to my body, and then being more curious, like, do I really like this? And like really kind of looking at my thoughts, that when I did drink after, it was during the holidays. So it was very challenging to not drink during Christmas. But I was looking at like, what is this really doing for me? And that information I got made me go, okay, I'm done. I don't like this anymore. I'm over it. And so January, I guess, it's been 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's hear your story. How did you get up to 8 months ago?
Well, wait, are you asking like how I stayed sober, or how did I
pick up the day that?
What led up to you deciding that we're going to down the wine glass, or any other kind of?
It went from happy to not so happy.
Yeah. Well, that takes me back, because in my 20s, drinking was really a happy time. Like, that's when I fell in love with alcohol, was in college and going out with my friends. And I felt like this energy about it, and I just loved it. It felt freeing to me. And then it didn't anymore. And I kept drinking because of social engagements, or, barbecues or things, and it just became such a part of my life. I knew it wasn't healthy for me, but I was like, I'm not any different than the people I'm hanging out with, so I'm good. But when I got pregnant with my first kid 6 years ago, he's 5 now, that's when I really was like, okay, do I want this to be a part of my life? I know that I don't really, it's not freeing anymore when I have a glass of wine. I didn't really understand why. It was very much something that you just do. And then when I got pregnant, I was kind of like relieved for the break. so I could think about it and really assess, like, do I want to keep drinking or not? And I think from that moment until December 21st, or I'm sorry, December 1st, when I started the program, like, I had been thinking about not drinking and my relationship with alcohol for that long. But it was getting to the point, you know, there's a lot of backstory with the pandemic and teaching and then having another kid, that once I got to like November, I was searching on the internet, am I an alcoholic? How do I get help? Where's the like nearest rehab near me? Thinking that I had this like really bad problem, but I wasn't not showing up to work and I wasn't not paying my bills. And it didn't really feel like I was out of control or I needed to drink in the morning. You're hearing my dog.
I always hear people say that they quit drinking when they got pregnant. And to me, I can't imagine that I could have just turned it off. I would have waited until tomorrow to turn it off. But the other thing is if I was able to, that would be, oh, well, obviously I don't have a problem.
Right.
I just turned it off. So I don't have it. So I'm good to go.
I think for me, it was like, it wasn't about that me anymore. The second I got pregnant, it was about the body, the being I'm growing in my body. And so I tried to do everything as best I could. And so of course I wasn't going to drink. And I had that 9 months, and it was like the closer that I got to delivering the baby, I was thinking, okay, when's my next glass of wine? Because my friends were having kids and they were drinking wine and doing the whole back and forth nursing thing. And I'm not trying to say like I wanted to like be like my friends. I just think it was part of the culture again. Like mommy wine culture was very much a thing for me while I was pregnant. And so it was like kind of like thinking, when am I gonna partake again?
And that's what's scary is all I'm hearing you say is, when do I get my reward for all this work? And there's the problem for me, because alcohol, well, I viewed it as my reward for hard work, for a day's work, for dealing with all the crap. I've earned it. And that's what I'm really working on with my coaching and my understanding about it, because I deserve this crap. And yet to me, it's a reward. And when I really think about if I'm going to reward myself, it shouldn't be with a hangover with all the other crap that comes along with it. It should be something where it's actually a reward. But why do I look at alcohol as my reward?
Well, I know that I was looking like I was romanticizing it, and I didn't have like, I mean, in health class, you learn that alcohol is bad for you and it hurts your liver and your organs. But I don't really think that I understood what alcohol is and does to your body and your mind physiologically until I took Jen Couch's 21-day reset and just read William Porter and started studying it. But the reward, like that romanticizing that drink, it's like you visualize, I would visualize and imagine myself pouring the glass of wine and how great it would feel to have it in my hand and build up this desire for it. That was the reward. I could have done the same thing with chocolate cake or pizza, but for some reason, wine is romanticized in our culture so much, or any drink really. And I think that I was becoming more aware of that when I started to get curious, like, oh, why do I really want this? I know I play the movie forward and I know that it's not going to be very good for me. So what is my reward going to be?
It really does have the fastest dopamine hit. I mean, the only thing that has a faster dopamine hit is heroin. So, you know, you don't get that dopamine hit off of a piece of chocolate cake. You just don't.
It works. I mean, for me, anxiety, I don't care. You can talk exercise. You can talk prescription medicine, I don't care what it is, nothing works as fast for instant relief of anxiety for me as alcohol. And that's a tough one to suggest alternatives for me.
Peggy, I think it was you that in your book, when I read that, you talked a lot about box breathing, and where those anxious moments, just really focusing on that box breathing to get you through those tough moments. And another key thing that I started doing was just focusing on gratitude. What am I really, 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 truly grateful for in the moment? And that kind of like pulls out the thought process. So for me, Jeff, I feel like quitting drinking has made me think about how I'm thinking about everything. And it's like opening up more curiosity. Like, why do I really believe this? Or why am I telling myself this? Is there something that would be more productive that I could tell myself that would shift me out of feeling anxious? Because that just comes up. That stuff comes up.
What is box breathing? What's the cancer? Because I haven't heard that.
It's where
I had read your book. I know, Peggy. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's not that. It's just that I think you've been to, I don't know, 500 TLC meetings, and you don't know what box breathing is. I bet those hosts are just shaking in their boots right now.
My internet's real spotty, so obviously it kicked off.
Whoa!
Every one of those 397 times they talked about it.
I'm really glad it stuck. I'm really glad it stuck with you.
That's funny. Well, Jeff, you can try it right now if you want. You take a breath in for 4 counts, or whatever number really. You hold it for 4 counts, and then you let it out for 4 counts. And then you pause for 4 counts. So you're creating this box of a breath and really focusing on the numbers and the control that you have in the moment. It like helps you relieve your anxiety and helps you kind of just automatically go, this is what I can control right now. I can't control that I'm hitting all of the red lights in the traffic.
Well, it scientifically slows down your central nervous system. And Jeff, just by the way, it's not like you put a box on your head and breathe just in case.
I've always called it triangle breathing instead of box. That's where the problem.
Triangle?
It's four.
Never 4 sides.
Patty, go on. And thanks, Bruce, for slamming me. I appreciate that, buddy. So anyways, go on. So wait, my question. You talk about Peggy. Here's the $1 million one. So dopamine it's the biggest rush is from alcohol. So how do we substitute, or how do I get an equivalent? Because I still don't believe that me breathing is going to be as good as a cold beer when I'm anxious. I'm sorry. I don't believe it's as good. So how did you overcome and find an equivalent? Patty?
I think it's a bunch of different things. It's not like, so alcohol was the fix for that. And I don't know. I feel like I'm retraining my brain, my thoughts, the way I think about things, my worldview, and focusing on all the joys and the good things that when I'm feeling anxious, like I was just before getting onto this interview, I went outside, took a couple deep breaths, and looked at my nature, the birds, and I just thought it's going to be okay no matter what. Just go in there and just do your thing. And I think that anxiety that keeps, it's just natural and something that we have to deal with and learn new strategies, because drinking is not an option anymore. So for me,
what worked? Yeah. Rory, thank you so much. So what is those strategies?
The breathing, self-talk, being in a state of gratitude, playing the movie forward. I think routines, getting on a routine and just knowing that this situation is coming up, and so I'm going to fall back on my routines. But if you're searching for like a supplemental drink or something like that, I don't think that that's going to be an option, because it's like a whole package deal of dealing with anxiety. And I just think I don't find joy in even thinking about how I used to drink or craving it anymore. It comes up, but I don't desire it anymore.
I think my problem was that I wanted the magic one time. Oh, just do this and it's fixed. And it's a little bit, I had to accept that it's a practice. It's not something that is, just, say this, hold your hand and whatever, breathe this way and magically is cured. It's something that I had to accept. There's a little bit of, I got to put in some work. I've got to learn this. I've got to learn these techniques. I've got to develop these techniques. I've got to practice them. And every time I did it, it got easier.
Yeah.
And
That's
now, whatever it is that was not the magic fix on day one is the magic fix now, because I've learned how to do it. I've learned how to accept I don't even know that I consciously think about, drink or breathing. I just do things. What used to be a conscious effort now is a subconscious action. And that's when the magic works for me. When I don't have to think, when I don't have to try not to drink, I just now subconsciously don't at situations. That's huge.
Yeah. And I think I hear what you're saying too. It's almost like you have to start dealing with the problems as they come up. And as a mom, there's like always a problem that comes up. So, which used to make me feel really anxious, to be like, not another thing that I have to deal with, not another diaper to change and thing to clean up. I just cleaned this room and now there's toys everywhere again. And all of these efforts to hold the day used to be reasons for me to go have a drink. And now they're just like, well, okay, how am I gonna fix this? So I'm gonna teach my kids to help clean up. I'm gonna try to solve the problem in a different way, which also helps with that anxiety, because you're just dealing with it as it comes up instead of trying to stuff it away and numb it and dull it.
But accepting that this is normal, accepting that I'm stressing I should be. It's normal to be stressing. I'm dealing with the kids, whatever it is, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Versus, I used alcohol as a quick fix for anything, so I lost the ability to accept that some bumps in the road are normal, and let's learn how to handle those bumps in the road. I threw alcohol at any bump. For me, a lot of it was anxiety. And at the slightest, you just talked about getting nervous talking, coming on this show. That's a normal anxiety. That's normal to be nervous about speaking in front of those
5 million people.
Well, yeah, or 7. But no, you know what I mean? It's easy. Can you show a little love? Work on that too.
I love you. I have undying love for you. Hey.
But no, just let me finish. But those normal anxieties, normal bumps are okay. And instead of, I was like a panic. If I felt anything, I dumped alcohol on it. So I lost the ability to handle the stresses.
And we really don't learn, when you get sober, you realize that you don't learn unless you're a little bit outside your comfort zone, right? And we numb that, right? And when you drink, you numb the joy and the uncomfortableness. So you don't, you're in this limbo land. I'm kind of gonna go off the topic a little bit, because you are a young mom. How old are your boys?
5 and almost 3, like in 10 days.
You've got some young ones. I'd really like to know because this is a huge issue for lots of young moms. And again, I give you kudos for doing this so early. When you're my age, you can at least look back and say you partied till the cows came home, and maybe they came home with you. So it's very different for me, even though I didn't start drinking really until later in life. But having said that, you have a lot of pressure from your peers to drink. But I'm really curious about your husband's reaction to you stopping drinking. Did he want you to stop drinking? Did he, tell me a little bit about that.
That's great. My husband is what you would call a normal drinker. He partied in college, but then he was able just to be like one drink every once in a while, maybe on Friday, maybe on Saturday. And occasionally more, but like nothing like me. I was being like, oh, well, you're not drinking, so I'll drink for you. And then when it started getting really bad, he was like, I wasn't like fall down drunk on the floor or anything, but he would just make comments like, oh, mommy sure likes her wine these days. And I could tell that, more responsibility was being shifted onto him as I isolated myself on the couch with a bottle of wine and Scandal or some sort of TV show. And so I was distant from that parenting aspect because I'd come home from work really stressed out, not feeling like I'd found my rhythm and dealing with the stresses of teaching and then coming home and my kids. And then all I wanted to do was just shut down. So I literally did just shut down at the end of the night from the hours of 4:30 until 8 when I went to bed. And then woke up at 2 every night. But when I went through the 21-day reset, I didn't say anything to him. I didn't tell him I was doing it. I didn't announce it or anything. I just wanted to do it for me. And he wasn't saying anything. Like, he wasn't even like, I leaned into my Marco Polo group. So this other group of women who were going through the challenge at the same time, I talked with them multiple times a day. So I'd be sneaking off with my phone in like the backyard or wherever, just like talking. And he would never ask, like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? And then so finally, after I think it was like 6 weeks or so from the challenge to like mid-January, I finally said something like, have you even noticed that I haven't been drinking? And he's like, yes, I have. And I was like, well, why didn't you say anything? I would have loved to know. And he was like, I just didn't want to and he couldn't say it. And so I said it for him. I said, you didn't want to jinx it. And he was like, kind of. And so I think he wanted to give me that space to be uncomfortable, do what I needed to do, even though he didn't know exactly what it was. And that's kind of how my husband is. He's very much I'm not going to tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you figure it out, even though I think you're doing something that's wrong.
Was the new Patty the same Patty, just not drinking, or was the new Patty a new Patty that he didn't know?
Ooh. Well, I've known my husband for a very long time, actually. So he's known many stages of me. So, but I do feel like I'm myself, but I'm just much more happy. And I can find joy in more moments than not. And so I think he sees that too. And I've been open with him. I don't like drinking. I wish I could stop. And he'd give me suggestions, be like, how did you go from binge partying in college to not drinking at all? Or occasionally, like, how do you turn it off? And his advice would be, I just found something that I wanted to do more during the day that I didn't want to drink for. And for him, it was rock climbing, and he was in college going to school learning engineering, and he was just really into other things throughout the day. And so he would tell me, like, just go live for the day and leave the night alone, like rest so you can have fun during the day. But that didn't work for me because I had this like connection that alcohol and drinking is fun, even though it wasn't. And so I wanted to do it in most situations.
Well, alcohol during the day is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol at night is that's
wind down time.
That's good. That's good. You're golden.
When you took the 21-day reset, did you plan on putting down the glass forever, or was it just, where was your mind at that time?
So before starting the challenge, I felt pretty alone and pretty desperate to do something, anything. But I knew I didn't anything but go to rehab or go to AA for some reason. In my mind, I was like, I'm not that bad. I just feel so lonely and I don't know what to do. And so I feel like, I almost didn't join the challenge because I was like, I don't have money for this. And then I looked at my bank account and I was like, I sure do have money for this. I definitely can pay for this.
I find that so interesting. I know, with all the programs I've been involved in that, and even, with this side of alcohol, just recommending, Sober Sis or TLC or some of the other ones. And they're like, oh, I can't afford $97. And I'm like, that's like 5 bottles of wine. So,
right.
It really is that. What made you, I know along the way you decided that you were going to take a huge turn in your life and stop teaching. So how did that happen? How did that come about?
Well, I feel like it was I honestly just feel like I didn't find my spot. I didn't find where I felt like this is where I'm meant to be. Mainly, I think because, I started teaching as a substitute teacher for like 3 or 4 years while I was getting my credentials, and I was pregnant and mothering my young children. And my first teaching job I got was part-time so I could finish my master's degree in curriculum instruction and design. And I was like, this is a win-win. But then a month goes by and we were told to go teach from home because COVID happened. And so that's like how I kind of started my career in this, like, I have no idea what to do now. And it was like super stressful. And I was getting this master's program on being innovative. And I was like, I don't know how to use this and I need to use it right now. This is the perfect moment to be innovative. But it was like super stressful worrying about the kids at my school and not having internet. And, school is such a sanctuary for so many people that I don't think people really realize it's the only structure that some people have in their lives.
And it's not only the only structure. You and I have talked about this before, because you're the teacher, I'm the social worker. And for some kids, it was their only safe spot. Mm-hmm. So I know
it makes me chills thinking about that time.
And sometimes it was their only place to get a meal. So we had 2 issues. And it's so interesting because I also saw that same worry because I've been teaching for the last 8 years and just seeing that secondary trauma in the social workers, it was insane. And we certainly have our share of first responders and teachers in this line, in sobriety. Because we had no place to put all that. It was, that was COVID.
Did you leave teaching to take that pressure off you?
Say that one more time.
Did you leave teaching to take that pressure off of you?
I think in a way, yeah. Hadn't thought of it that way because I got really into my like writing and like creativity that I just like, that's what I wanted to like focus on, the stuff. And I was like, teaching's not working right now. I just come home and I feel so drained. I don't have anything to give to my family. I just want to shut off. And that didn't stop. Like when I was teaching from home, and then we went to hybrid, and then it was almost like every teacher I talked to at my school. Oh, and that I had 3 different teaching jobs. So I taught 8th grade, then I taught 4th grade, then I taught 5th grade. So I never really had like normalcy in a system that didn't know how to be normal in the situation we were in. And so last year, my principal, I talked with him and I said, look, I feel like I'm still really stressed out about all of this. And it feels like I'm waiting for something else bad to happen because I don't know what normal is for school. I don't think I've ever known it. And so I just need a break. And it was good timing because Liam had half-day kindergarten. So things just started falling into place. But I thought I would drink less during the pandemic because my husband was home and we were working out more, and I ended up drinking like way more. Like, so I do all the healthy things during the day. And then as soon as we were done working out, I'd just rehydrate with beer and then turn to wine. And then I knew something had to, and then answer emails at like 1 or 2 in the morning because that's the only time I heard from my students. And I'm going back to this moment because I just feel like that was my trauma. I have that like experience so ingrained in me of how stressed and burnt out I felt in the beginning of my career. And it was really hard for me to let that go.
I got a question just popped up in chat. Did you day drink during your COVID teaching career?
No. I did at 4:00 after the workout. It was very ritualistic. I had this whole plan. So I woke up at 5 and I did master's work in my bedroom. My bedroom's right back there. So I'm there. And then I would take my laptop and I would go into the kitchen, and that would be first period. And I would do all my work for that there while the kids get up. And then I would go into the kitchen, teach my class. And then I would go in all these locations around my house because I needed some sort of routine or structure. And so for me, ritualistically drinking at 4:00 was like a reward. And then the reward became, this is how I'm going to cope with all of this stress.
Did you exercise to justify?
That's a good question too.
I loved when I was running,
then you could go have
days because then it was like guilt-free drinking, or a lot less guilt.
I think for me, maybe in part, but I've always kind of been a little more, I don't know, I've just been body conscious and wanting to lose weight. Like, I think that could play into this too. And so I would actually feel like I would join challenges and be like, I'm not going to drink for 21 days because I'm doing this fitness challenge. And then I'd end up like maybe getting 2 weeks in, and then I'd be like, I'll just drink, it's fine. And then just work out hungover. So
I would do that. I do challenges like that too. Only, it just seemed like every time we did a challenge, an alcohol-free challenge, then we drank to celebrate.
Yeah. We talked about that in my reset group too. That was like, okay, we're all fixed now. So are we going to go have a drink? But
tell us about your new venture. Tell us what you're doing.
So,
I'm going to put up some contact info, talk about them just so
sure.
People are how to find you.
Yeah, I write on medium.com, and I write a lot of things that I am learning and just insights that I have. And that's kind of developed into an idea of making plans for our events in our life, like those triggering moments when you're trying to be sober your first year or second year. There's like events that pop up that you're like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm wanting to drink again. Birthday parties, holidays are huge for relapse, and things like that. And so I'm like creating these guides to help plan for that next event that's very specific for that. So I'm calling it How to Plan Your Sober Blank, and then fill in the blank with the holiday, or the thing coming up. And what I like about it so much is that I'm asking people to submit like their success stories or even what they're worried about. So other people, it becomes more like a magazine of experiences for empowering you, the reader, to really say, like, I can come out the other side. I can try and have a new plan of attack or a strategy. Other people have done it. I can do it too. And so I really want to create like this community that's supporting each other on that next specific thing, that next moment where you might consider picking up the glass again. And I know that if you are questioning, you might not really want to do that. And so,
Well, no one thinks they can do it if they're the first. But if I hear someone else got through this event, now I believe that it's possible, and I want to hear how the hell did you do it?
right.
I'm probably going to copy.
Or at least try it out. And that goes back to like how we deal with like the anxiety or the reasons why we drink, and we dealt with them. We try out new tools, and it's just adding more to the toolbox. So when you're in a new situation, you have the ammo to go, okay, well, I know I've tried this before, it doesn't work. So maybe I'm going to try this, and maybe this will be the thing that really kind of helps me see the way out, or the way to have fun too. That's one thing about these events. I feel like so many years I just made it all alcohol related. Like even a kid's birthday party was an excuse to drink mimosas, and I'm not trying to say if people do that, that's wrong. But for me, it was almost like, okay, well, here's this thing coming up. What kind of alcohol am I going to bring to drink? And in order to like make it more fun. And I think that what I'm learning in sobriety is like, there's so much more joy in being sober than I ever really imagined. And I just want that for everyone to like get to that point where life feels fun and silly and good, and there are awesome things that are happening, and you can make them happen.
You know, the $1 million thing though is now I know that I had to live it before I believed it, and that's what's hard.
Well, and I think still, there's always hard parts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I spent this last weekend, meeting my son's fiance's mom. It was meet the parents weekend, and going out to dinner with 9 people was fine. I think I freaked people out at the table because they all knew I was sober and I had a beer, but it was a alcohol-free beer. And so there was some muttering at the end of the table to see if I'd relapsed. And then, we went and did some, fun stuff like mani-pedis and all that. I can't believe it. I know.
Blue nails.
Got mine done earlier.
I know. I made Jeff take off his blue. I didn't want him to compete with me, so I made him take his off. But, and then Saturday night, we went to my son's for pizza. He has a pizza oven, and the first thing they did is they got the expensive tequila out and did a shot. And so I really have to, just like I did in the beginning, because I'm in my 4th year, just like I did in the beginning, I had to I don't want to drink. That I'm really at a place now with almost, in my 4th year that I don't want to drink. But it made me feel like I was an outsider. So I have to consciously shift myself to say, where I used to be the life of the party, now I'm sort of that observer. I've taken on the role of the observer. And so And, again, I'm lucky that they didn't, have more shots than that. But there's always, not always, but in a case like that, there's just that little tinge of envy that they could have that shot and I didn't. And, those are those things where I can come to you, like I'm just telling you now about it, or, I can talk to my sober friends and, sometimes I can talk to Jeff. But
I'm here for you.
it
Always.
really, and then the next day I got to watch my grandson play baseball. And again, it's that breathing, right? My central nervous system relaxes when there's no alcohol around, at least no physical alcohol at the baseball game. And, I'm finding more and more how comfortable I am in places that don't have alcohol. I do not go any place anymore where alcohol is the main event. I just, if I have to do that, which I haven't really actually done that in 4 years, I just don't go, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that.
What would Peggy do? That's been something that we talk about in some of my sober circles, just because in your book you give people permission to stay at home. Like, if you are going to sacrifice any part of your sobriety, it's okay to say, you guys have fun, I'm not going to join you. And when I read that, and many of my girlfriends read that too, and we all just kind of were like, oh my gosh, we don't have to go. And that was one thing that kind of clicked too. Like, we put ourselves in these situations that we're really not that great. Like, we really don't want to go do, so might as well drink, or, to pass the time or whatever. And
I love how you, one of the things I love about what you're doing with your magazine and your writing is that, your central theme of having a plan, because we just having a plan, just consciously, even if it's a short 5 minutes, so you think about it, it makes such a difference, because it sets your mind a little bit differently, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I knew I could have ridden over from the hotel with someone else, but I made sure I had my car. And when people were starting to get a little slurry, then it was time for me to go back to the hotel, and I'm very comfortable with that now. I don't feel bad about it at all. And it was nice this year. Thanksgiving was a little bit different, but I didn't have people, saying, "Are you okay? Are you fine?" So now they're getting used to my sobriety, and so I don't feel like I have Christmas lights all over me, flashing that I don't drink. And it's starting to become the norm in my family as well that I don't drink. So that's really nice too.
When did that start going for you? Because I'm 8 months in, don't have a year. I didn't really tell my friends and family very well. I mean, I wrote about it, it's online, but I still feel like the Christmas light thing, like, she doesn't drink, so let's not talk. Let's avoid her or something.
I don't know if there's a timeline. I just know that. Well, and I want to go back to, and I think Jeff feels this way too. And I'm not sure it affected you differently. For me, COVID was a blessing. I was 6 months sober, and COVID hit, and so I had this built-in excuse not to go anywhere, right? We couldn't go anywhere, right? So it was a huge blessing for me. So by the time people got social again, I had over a year under my belt, and then again, there's things I don't go to. I just won't go to them. I mean, it doesn't always make my husband happy, but hey,
the lights, I find that I'm the one that turned them on. That I turned the light on that says, "Hey, look at me, I'm not drinking." And when I learned to just turn that off, I think I'm getting better.
You're 6'6", I think, when, you don't drink, it probably, people notice, Jeff.
Well, yeah, but there's a way that I carried myself. I think when I walk in and I looking around and in a panic, I think I made it clearly something's different with Jeff. And now it's just, I'm there and just, I don't think about it. That's what the magic is. And Patty, I don't know if that's it all. I mean, my answer was just when I no longer feel like I'm not drinking at drinking events. I'm just there. And that's huge. When because at first it was like, oh God, here it comes. They're going to come around and ask me what I want and ordering a Diet Pepsi. And now I don't even pay attention that other people are drinking and I'm no longer. And that's when the thought of it vanished and I just was able to enjoy the moments. That's when I went, wow, this works.
I still get those pangs every once in a while, but the other thing is too that people are starting to do things for me too. Like Saturday night, my ex brought me a 6-pack of Athletic alcohol-free beer, and I thought, that I think a year before I would have said, "What an asshole," that he was pointing me out, and now I'm more comfortable with it, and I really appreciated that he took the time out to do that. So, and really appreciated that he.
But you probably also, my point, Peggy, is that you're seeing people that see you not drinking now. They probably see you looking strong versus.
Yeah. I don't know if they see me looking strong, but it's become normal for me not to drink. Although I really want to make this about Patty and not Peggy. But on the Monday before I went, my son even said, "Mom, I really wish that you and Anna, his future mother-in-law, could have a glass of wine so you could bond." So that still comes in sometimes. It's where other, that's the lens he looks through.
How did you respond to that?
How did I?
Yeah, did you respond?
I don't need to drink a glass of wine to bond. In fact, I've found lately, Brett, that I actually bond a little bit better when I'm not hammered.
Yeah.
I'm not a person that can have one glass of wine. I just can't have one. Not a one-person glass. I might have had a glass with her because I was trying to impress her. Not impress her, but, first time meeting the other parent. But then I would have gone back to my hotel room and drank a bottle.
I liked drinking at home too because it was like relaxing and also tired. Like it made me tired. So I'd be like, oh, that's nice for 20 minutes. And then I'd be like, now I'm going to just melt into the couch and then come up again. But Peggy, you're talking about that social situation. And I think that that's very real for how people are like, oh, I wish that you would drink with me so we could bond. But I'm finding that I'm much more alert. I'm much more engaged. I'm much more in the moment with people that I don't want to bond that way. I don't want to get slurry. And to me, that doesn't feel like a genuine, authentic connection anymore. So
that is, and Peggy, I'd love to hear your response on this too, because boy, you know what? I just wish that we could, we had so much fun when we were drinking. I just wish you could do that, Peggy. I mean, that's so I must just be one loser without alcohol in your
right.
mind.
Well, and that's kind of, of course, Rory made a comment. Yeah, it does every once. People in my life can make me feel like the other. They can make me feel a little marginalized. But what I do is I go back and think, if I was 38, I would think that about my own mother. I had his mindset when I was 38 years old. I thought people that didn't drink were the biggest losers on the planet. So I get it. I understand it. I get it because I was laughing with my Mormon cousin the other day because he was in Hawaii and sent me a picture of him reading my book on the beach. And he goes, "I'm AF in Hawaii." Well, he's Mormon. That cracked me up.
He's AF all the time.
But, and I said, "I just thought you were the biggest loser because you didn't drink. I felt bad for you. I felt awful." And here we are bonding over being alcohol free. It's so funny. Not over being Mormon, but sorry, everybody that's Mormon out there. I'm going to get canceled on this side of alcohol. Sorry.
It's interesting to me though when I'm looking at these like events and the things that you're like trying to like not drink at and how social everything is with alcohol. Like when we were kids and hanging out, jumping on trampolines and riding bikes, alcohol wasn't involved. It's just interesting how it like had to be a part of our adulthood. Like,
Well, I think for me, I mean, again, I grew up in a house where alcohol was central. It was, I don't necessarily think, my parents were fall down drunks by any means. It was more bingy social drinking, but, and I know, my parents drank, but the thing is, we just grew up thinking, even though, those times that I snuck a drink, my dad's gin and tonic, and out through it tasted like gasoline at that time.
Well, I grew up wanting. I mean, I got Shirley Temples at dinner or a kitty cocktail because I wanted. That was
have a fancy drink.
That was fancy, and that was.
Can we talk about that after the show, Jeff? You were supposed to have Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers were green, weren't they? I don't
remember.
I thought they were a green drink, but no, I was a Shirley Temple.
So we're almost at the end. Patty, what's your favorite alcohol-free drink? Do you have one?
Water. I know that's silly, but I've always loved water, especially ice water. But when I want something at the end of the day, in like that 4:00 cooking time, it'll be some sort of like club soda with lemonade and a nice garnish, but something like that.
What was your biggest surprise about sobriety that you didn't expect?
I didn't expect to like it, honestly.
What did you think it was going to be like?
I thought it was good. I don't know. I was so attached to me as a drinker and what that identity was that I couldn't see past that. I thought it was going to be boring, a drag. People wouldn't want to hang out with me. I wouldn't be happy, but it's been quite a while and I feel it might be the pink cloud, but I'll take it. I feel so good. Oh, here comes the kids.
Okay. Jeff, do you want to, Patty, Jeff, why don't you wrap it up and talk about how people can get a hold of Patty or read her.
Yeah, Patty, if they want to get a hold of you, find your readings, your writings, contribute?
Yeah, I think I would go to Linktree/PMAC Insights. That has all of my medium.com info and Facebook page, socials, some things that I'm up to there. But if you are interested too for coming to my group, How to Plan Your Sober Blank, it's a Facebook group, private, so we can get together and plan for the next thing that's coming up.
Are you going to the Sober in the City?
I am. I'm so excited. I got my VIP tickets. Can't wait to meet everybody in the flesh.
Send me a text with pictures. I'll be in my room with a Domino's pizza having your VIP event.
Oh, I have a 3-year-old right here who's playing monkey. Speaking of
put him on TV.
Well, anyways, Peggy, I guess next week we'll be back the week after. But hey, buddy, how you doing?
Yeah.
Someone's proud of their mommy. You know that? Just gotta say, that's pretty cool.
Thank you so much, buddy. I kind of think that what we just talked about is what I'll talk about for your magazine in the fall. So just give me an idea about what I could talk about.
Oh,
so
good. You're welcome.
so much.
Well, I'll put in my address so everyone
Thanks everybody for showing up tonight. That was really nice. All the many people I love are in the audience tonight. So thank you so much. It was really great to see you.
And the gift baskets for me next week.
We have to take care of Jeff next week when he has a real BAC story.
Oh, I'm going to be hurting. It's going to be fun. So anyways, hey, we'll be back though the following week. Someone said I should do the show. Just come on and I could just watch me cry for 45 minutes.
Hi, Maggie.
But, all right, Patty, thanks so much for being here.
Bye,
Hey,
guys.
thank you guys. I really appreciate the invite.
And we'll see everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.